These guys are guys we think were prepped for a monster week. And we're going to start with Isiah Pacheco.
Jeez.
Isiah Pacheco, he has been a pleasant surprise this season, from the volume he's been getting to the fantasy points that he has been putting up. And looking at his last 4 games here, games of 24, 13, 15, and 16 points. And you may say, yeah, those aren't like groundbreaking numbers. And I would say, no, they're not. But for a Chiefs running back, I'm very pleased with this, honestly.
Yeah.
And you're talking about this on like around 50 to 60% snap share every single one of these games. But he's getting 20 carries, 16 carries, 16 carries, 13 carries. And when he's adding on touchdowns and adding on, anywhere from 3 to 6 targets every game, this is sustainable for Isiah Pacheco. It absolutely is. Let's look at the running backs against the Denver Broncos this season. This couldn't be more obvious, guys. Devon Achane had 51 points against the Broncos. Raheem Mostert had 45. Those were in the same game, by the way. They gave up 96 fantasy points to a running back from a single team in a single game. 96.
Wow.
Brian Robinson, 29. Breece Hall, 28. Khalil Herbert, 22. Khalil Herbert. And then Isiah Pacheco, the first game, only had 16 points. What are the odds that he does that again? Pretty slim. Isiah Pacheco, again, playing the team, Denver, that's given up the highest amount of points to running backs this season by far.
Yep.
It's not even close. The Chiefs are still a very good team. The Chiefs still have a serviceable offensive line. And when you're looking at even his red zone usage, it all adds up for Pacheco. If he gets, you're talking about some of these games that we talked about in the last 4 games. How many? Didn't even have a touchdown against Denver. That's why. If he had a touchdown against Denver, you're talking 20+ points.
Yeah. That had to have been a fantasy record, with Achane and Mostert putting up 96 points.
I think it was.
Has a defense ever given up 96 fantasy points to running backs in a single game? There's no way.
No.
Right?
No, I don't.
There has to be no way. That's insane.
I don't think so.
I think Pacheco.
I'm starting any running back, but Pacheco's been good this season, and he's looked fine. Even though he moves every part of his body when he runs.
Yeah.
He's like, have you ever noticed that?
He runs so weird.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's why he's fun to watch. But look, overall, man, we don't do running back rankings for you guys every single week because that's taken in the industry.
Yeah.
Everyone else does them.
Yeah.
But if I did running back rankings, I am not kidding you. Pacheco would be in my top 6 this week.
Oh, yeah.
Top
absolutely.
6 at least.
Yes.
Like, legitimately.
Yes.
No joke.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Austin Ekeler this week. And obviously, we know what Austin Eckler's ceiling is every single week. He has the upside to be the running back 1 any given week. But you're looking at the last couple weeks that he's been back. 10 points and 5 points.
So it's not all
against
that obvious.
Kansas City. Not all that obvious anymore. There's going to be a lot of people with questions about Austin Ekeler. Is he going to get back to what he was doing last season? Is he going to get back to what he was doing week 1 before his injury? There's a lot of question marks here. Absolutely. But I don't think you have to look further this week than the fact that the Chargers are playing the Bears. And yes, I know we dog on the Bears all the time. Dog on the Bears.
Dog on the Bears.
But
nice.
Yeah, the Bears overall ultimately have looked better than they did for the first 5-6 weeks of the season. I'll give you that.
It's the lowest
for
bar
sure.
anybody's
but that
ever
is the
set.
lowest possible bar, and it still results in a crap ton of fantasy points for pretty much every fantasy asset on the other side of the ball. Unless you're the Minnesota Vikings. When you're looking at the fantasy points scored by running backs against the Bears this season, you've got Aaron Jones with 26, Rachaad White with 21. Guys, Rachaad White, you're talking about one of the most inefficient runners in the NFL, one of the most inefficient starting running backs in the NFL. Rachaad White put up 21 points. 21. This guy, who consistently averages less than 4 yards per carry, had 4.3 yards per carry. Jaleel McLaughlin, 19 points. Jerick McKinnon, 17 points. And then Pacheco with 15 points. I think you're looking at that list of running backs. You're like, yeah, Aaron Jones, clearly the best of those. And he's been banged up, had that hamstring issue. Austin Ekeler.
Is Aaron Jones better?
Is like very much better than Aaron Jones. And he's the best running back on that list. Got to be super optimistic about Ekeler this week. Again, you're not sitting these guys. You're not sitting Austin Ekeler if you can help it.
No.
But you're definitely concerned about him.
Yeah.
But we're telling you that you should not only not be concerned about Ekeler this week, you should be expecting a monster week from Austin Ekeler.
Yeah, I think the matchup alone. Although I do fully expect the Chargers to be in a shootout with the Badgett-led.
Yeah, but that's
Chicago
fantasy
Bears.
friendly. It'll be a shootout.
Yeah, it is. That's why everybody against the Chargers is a start every single week. It
Always.
literally never fails. All right, I'm going to go A.J. Brown here. A.J. Brown's been on a tear recently. So this isn't really a hot take. That's why I kind of put him third. Last 4 games, I love A.J. Brown. 38 points, 18 points, 20 points, 30 points. Holy frick. That's ridiculous. I mean, this is interesting, too. I mean, I love doing the perception studies on guys, but you're looking at his success rate against man and press. He is in the 96th percentile in success rate against those two types of defenses. He's in the 80th percentile in zone, too, but 96th, dude. That's crazy. He's truly one of the best. He is truly one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Not to mention, I mean, looking at A.J. Brown, he's already played the Commanders once this season, and he had 39 points.
It's ridiculous.
I love the divisional matchups because I mean, things aren't always going to go the same way twice. But you have like the perfect litmus test for what could potentially happen this week from a ceiling standpoint for these wide receivers that are playing these divisional opponents twice. It's like T.Y. Hilton every time he played the Texans.
Oh my gosh, that was awesome. Dude.
And even DJ Moore. I mean, DJ Moore, you're talking about a Commander's secondary where DJ Moore dropped 50 on him. 50. DJ Moore. And Justin Fields was his quarterback. I mean, that should tell you almost all you need to know. The Commanders have given up the 8th most points to wide receivers this year.
Yep.
And honestly, before the DJ Moore game, I kind of was okay with their secondary.
Oh, yeah, I thought they were.
And then they've
fine.
looked not super great recently.
Nope.
So with A.J. Brown, I mean, I don't see any reason why his hot streak is going to come to an end. And we're not just making this video saying to start these guys. We're trying to predict the biggest performances of the week in this video.
Yeah.
And so when we say A.J. Brown, obviously you're not sitting A.J. Brown. There's nobody that's sitting A.J. Brown.
No. But you're talking like wide receiver 1 upside.
But we are predicting A.J. Brown to
this week
probably be the top receiver this week.
Yeah, and I do want to play a little bit of devil's advocate here because I did bring this up in another video that, spoiler alert, if you guys haven't seen yet, I brought this up. But A.J. Brown having 38 points against Washington in week 4, do you think that leaves a little room for concern on A.J. Brown's upside and maybe helps Devonta Smith a little bit in this matchup? Because, or am I giving too much credit to Ron Rivera? And
yeah, I mean, that's where
am I giving too much credit to them to adjust?
I think giving any credit to him at all is too much.
Okay, so I could just be wrong.
So you just could be wrong, yeah.
I'm completely fine
but
with that.
if we're wrong, then we have that to point back and say, see, we were apprehensive. But no, we think A.J. Brown's going to have a monster week this week. Obviously, you're starting him, but we predict that he's going to be a top 3 receiver this week. Easy. He's got a great matchup. And it's really good to see one of the best players in fantasy football on a total tear.
Yeah, and I think if we're predicting at least A.J. Brown and potentially Devonta Smith to have big games this week, you have to count on Jalen Hurts being really a top 3 option. And I know, again, like we've said, these are not guys that you're not starting. These are guys that have that upside to be the best at their position.
You know why we keep saying that over and over? Because there's going to be people in the comments like, this is obvious.
It's gonna.
We're just trying to predict the best fantasy.
Yes. Now you're looking at the concerns with Jalen Hurts of recent. He's thrown a lot of interceptions. An interception in week 5 against the Rams, 3 against the Jets in week 6, and then in week 7 he threw another pick against the Miami Dolphins. But you're still seeing his production and his rushing upside overall, and you're like, man, this guy is still like what is the floor that he offers against Washington? Probably 18 to 20 points if he has a bad day. And yes, he's had some tough days against Washington in the past. That is absolutely room for concern. If you're one of those crazy people in a 1 QB league that has Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts and hasn't traded one of them away yet, Jalen Hurts is going to have a pretty good day. So that we're really confident in his ability to be that lead quarterback this week against the Commanders, who have the 3rd highest points given up to QBs this season and have given up most rushing yards to QBs overall. And you're looking at Jalen Hurts, and he's one of the top 3 best rushing QBs in the NFL.
This may be because of Taylor Swift. It may be.
It's got to be.
It may be because of Taylor Swift.
It's got to be.
And honestly, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I enjoy seeing her at the games. I think it looks like she's having a good time. I think Travis Kelce's trying to show out for his girl. I mean, that was me, Goofy Avery, in high school trying to show out in high school basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I really think the script has been amazing this year.
Oh, the script has been fantastic.
It's been phenomenal.
I mean, outside of the Aaron Rodgers stuff, like that was tough.
That was part of the script, but it's going to be amazing when he comes back.
Well, the Anthony Richardson stuff I'm pissed about too. But with Travis Kelce, the script was he's going to date a pop star, and then he's going to go off. Number one, Travis Kelce, I mean, you had the groin thing to start the season. I think it was a groin, right? Whatever it was, but
it was an ankle.
No, he said the ankle thing was the most recent one.
He hyperextended his knee.
His knee, that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yep.
But, I mean, recently, you also saw him, pretty much sprain his ankle. And still, in the last 3 games, he's had more than 20 points, 22 points, 21 points, 36 points in non-tight end premium leagues last week. 12 receptions, 179 yards.
Guys, I know this is bold, but we're talking, again, monster week incoming. I think Kelce repeats that.
Tight ends against Denver so far this season. Cole Kmet had 27. Cole Kmet.
Cole Kmet?
Kmet.
Oh, wow.
27. Travis Kelce already had played them. Has 21 points. Again, perfect example here. Tyler Conklin had 10. Logan Thomas had 10.
Do you think Kelce easily breaks 30 again this week?
Do I need to give you a data point to prove that will happen? Okay. The Denver Broncos have given the most points and receiving yards up to tight end of any team in the league, period.
So I think the answer is yes.
Moving on.
Yeah.
That was
last guy we're going to have here is Lamar Jackson, who has already been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal this season as a passer. Man. Like, I mean, MVP caliber.
He's so fun to watch, too.
MVP caliber. I think you're looking at his game against Detroit. You're like, oh my gosh, 33 points. 27 pass attempts, 21 completions, 3 touchdowns. And yeah, a lot of that was not a lot of that. Worthless time the entire second half. Worthless time. They didn't even need to score points at that point. Lamar Jackson, before that week, only had 18 points against Tennessee and 10 against Pittsburgh. So I think you're looking at this game where he played the Detroit Lions and absolutely destroyed them. And you're like, okay, maybe we're going to come back to earth a little bit this week and kind of struggle with the mid-producing fantasy upside that Lamar Jackson has offered over the past few weeks in weeks 5 and 6. And I would say, no. He's going to do it again. He's absolutely going to do this again with his matchup. You're looking at them playing the Arizona Cardinals. You could not ask for a better matchup for Lamar Jackson to crush, destroy, annihilate. I mean, you're talking about Joe Burrow, and yes, Joe Burrow, an incredible quarterback. Really he was playing on one leg, and he had a phenomenal day against the Cardinals a couple weeks ago when everyone was doubting him and everyone said that he wasn't going to do anything against the Cardinals. So I think you're looking at this matchup and you're like, yeah, he could absolutely have a repeat performance against the Cardinals after doing this against Detroit, who is objectively a better defense at every position.
Fantasy football is better when Lamar Jackson is amazing.
Yes.
And watching Lamar Jackson this weekend, I mean, I watched the games at Cleveland, at Pittsburgh, at Tennessee. And when you think about it, those games from a defensive perspective, Cleveland has the best defense in the NFL. Pittsburgh is always tough, especially at home, and so is Tennessee. They were just really ugly games. Like, they're just really 3 tough opponents in a row. Yeah. And then they get Detroit. They get one, mediocre defense, and they go bananas. And he looks great. He's extending plays. He's moving around well. He's finding guys in the end zone. Mark Andrews is looking better. Zay Flowers is still looking good. And they beat the frick out of that team, man. The Lions looked terrible. Lions fans, where are you at? What happened? I mean, come on. But
I think to their credit, it was just one of those days, man.
But is it, though? Because the Lions actually, they don't have a win that I would look at and say that's their signature win. The Chiefs in week 1, it was week 1. Travis Kelce was not healthy, and they didn't have Chris Jones. And it's week 1. The parity is off the charts in week 1. I don't know. I think the Lions might be somebody you have to watch from a matchup perspective going forward because I think they got annihilated. So,
yeah,
all right, those are the guys we think are going to have ginormous league-leading weeks. So we'll see how we do on the accuracy of those. But do us a huge favor, drop a like on this video, and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. We're excited for this week. We hope you enjoy it. Thanks, guys, so much, and we'll see you later.